get started, man. Good night. No, I can't say good night.
Babe,
So
we live.
yeah, I know. We always start off with some craziness, man. That's what we do.
What is that sound?
I gotta go turn the game on.
That's what that sound
Yeah, but
is?
it's gonna turn off because
No,
anybody
I
playing.
just wanted to make sure it wasn't the heat again. Wasn't the
No,
heat this time.
no. We're back. Sorry for our. Of course, we always have some type of intermission before we even start. So, hope everybody day was good. I hope everybody's inside because the snow has actually came this time.
We getting snow. That don't mean everybody in the world getting snow.
Well, I'm sorry. You're right. You absolutely. For those that are in our surrounding areas getting snow, I hope you're inside, safe, and because it's definitely coming down. Didn't think we really was going to get any snow because the last two times we didn't really get any accumulation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming down now, y'all. It's coming down.
We already got notice school's closed tomorrow.
Yeah, we
Hey,
definitely got
beautiful.
that. I got my notice. I'll be going in the building because it's just a 2 hour delay for me.
Well, that's right now.
Yeah, as of right now, but I know how my situation works. So I'll probably be going in the building tomorrow.
Okay. So,
Um,
love is patient, love is kind.
love is patient, love is kind. So, hey, I told you when you asked me, I know where we were going with it. So it's gonna be one of
God gave
those.
you that for something.
Um, I, it was more so listening because I listen to a lot of radio stations in the morning. More so, Sway in the morning. They do a lot of good educational things on there. And one of the DJs that was on there, I forgot his name, but he was talking about love is patient and love is kind. Put them legs away, baby. I gotta focus.
Oh my God, that's why I'm wrapping them up with my blanket. You got the fan right on us.
It's just blowing this way.
Whatever. I'm cold.
um, I'll turn it back.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So when I heard it, I was like, I like it. So of course I went and looked it up, and looking it up, this was actually, oh man, here it is.
Rick. So let me ask this, Tiff. What
See,
caused the friction?
so in the
It's First Corinthians 13:4.
yes, I was
Love is
going to say in
patient.
the because it was I guess I shouldn't have to say King James version, but in the King James version, Corinthians 13, chapter 13, verse
First
4.
Corinthians. It's on another row. You
Yes,
see
first. Okay, I see it right there. I'm sorry. First, I didn't see that.
Hey,
I just saw that.
beautiful.
Um, and it just came. And in there, it was just a list of things. And as y'all know, this is a not just a marital relationship talk. This is relationship talks, and sometimes it seems like we may just get stuck on just the marital piece of it, but it's not just that. So looking at it, and I'm not. I tell y'all, I'm the one. Tell y'all, I don't know all my Bible verses. I'm not one to sit down and read it. I probably should more. But just looking at these, and I'm y'all know me. I am proud of who I am, but I think I need to get back into this book a little more.
You think?
I not think I know. But it was just sitting there, just looking at it. It says, "Love doesn't envy, love doesn't boast, love is not proud, love does not dishonor others, love is not self-seeking, love is not easily angered, love keeps no records of wrongs, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with with truth. Love bear all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things." We want to stop and start at the top, baby. Go down.
So that's the King James version.
That's what it says according to
Okay,
Google.
because I have a
Yes.
different version. I have the NLT version. So
Okay.
it says,
Let's go
love
there.
is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable. and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, and is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance.
So the first thing that came to my mind was just to kind of touch bases to like each topic. Um, Cause what did was your first one? Love doesn't envy. What did it
No,
actually
it
say?
said mine said proud. So I was trying to pull up your version.
You don't have to, man. We can, cause I mean, we can kind of see how they coexist with each other.
It's
you
gonna
know.
be the same. Oh no, that's not King James version. I don't know what version that is.
Oh, so see, listen, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. We just learned something right now. We can't always go straight to the internet and figure
Okay,
things
so
out.
then we just gonna go off this
Let's
one.
go with that one. Let me go with
Okay,
that one.
so
That's
this
what I
is
say.
the
Listen, we going off that one.
Hey beautiful. All right, so this is the New Living Translation version. Love is patient and kind.
You
That's the
saw about
first
that?
one.
Okay.
That's
All
the
right.
first one.
Okay. Uh.
So okay, let me say this. I also think that God is always intentional about what he does, because if you know, this week is Valentine's week, right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
the it's coming up
The
the
14th.
14th.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
It's
So
Friday.
for us to have this topic, as you
Dang.
didn't
I
realize that,
didn't.
did you?
See?
See?
It's intentional. It's
Jay said that was the
intentional.
LeBron James version.
I love it.
So, but it's I just love how
Hold on, let's get. It's gonna be a little bit more loud today, y'all. The
um
kids are here. They canceled all after school
yeah,
activities,
so
so if
it's
you
gonna be
hear them, it's
loud.
gonna be a little louder. Sorry, but that's funny, Jay. You gotta cut it out. Gotta focus.
But I think it just goes to show you how God speaks to us. Like you just said,
No,
I don't know where we going with this, but this is what it is. And then it clicked just now with me, because Valentine's week, oh Frida. Valentine's week is
we
this
ending
is
alive,
on ending on Friday. Congrats to the Eagles feet of Frida.
and I'm glad it was an NFC team.
Yeah.
That's what I'm glad it was an
Nick
NFC
asked
team.
me, he was like, so what team you going for? I said, well, I don't want to go for the Eagles because they beat us out, but I'm going with the Eagles because they're in our conference, and like I'm all, Jalen Hurts and all that
So
other stuff.
just there real quick, they didn't give that guy no chance all season, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
So
that's why I
good
said
job,
so.
and Saquon deserved it. So
Yeah.
good job, Eagles. You
Okay,
brought it
back
to
to
the
our regularly
NFC
scheduled
East.
program. Love is
Yes.
patient and kind. We starting there first. That's verse 4. Um, well, 4a, I should say. Love is patient and kind. So what does that mean for you?
Um, and so let's. I always ask questions. You know that.
Okay.
So is would love be different in a marital setting than a friendship setting?
I don't think so.
And this is why I asked the question, because everybody will have a different opinion on it.
So the reason why I say I don't think so, because even in friendships, right,
Mm-hmm.
or um even family members, whoever you're looking at the love with, right, whether it's from an emotional side like with us,
Mm-hmm.
or just well, it can be emotional with family too, but whatever, regardless of the relationship, I think there's still going to be moments when it will be tested no matter what.
And I agree with you with that, because it should be equal no matter what. Now you're gonna love people differently.
Right. So there's different
Right,
degrees to the
right.
love, but I
Yeah.
think no matter what, you still have to be patient and you still have to be kind,
Yes.
because
Because
we
it's
all
intentional.
it's two personalities, sometimes more personalities depending on the
Four,
person.
four.
But um no matter what it is, there are going to be things that come in that try and cause rifts
Always.
in the relationship, regardless of what type of relationship is, right? The enemy is never happy when it's a relationship, because he wants you to be alone, right? And
Yep.
so things are going to come that's going to cause you to want to have to be kind. That's going to force you to be kind. Like, oh, you said you wanted to be patient. You wanted to be kind. So now every store you go to, it's going to be long lines and everything. People going to get on your nerves. Oh, you wanted to be kind, did you?
Do you want? Let's see how kind you really are.
Right. Do you really stand on love is patient and love is kind? And so I think no matter what, even though, the way the scriptures, in my opinion, are written, it's for any kind of relationship, not just
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So can I share a small story? Babe, my stories ain't never small, but just something happened today.
Okay.
At my job.
Okay.
Remember, I went to the store yesterday and I picked up 2 cases of water and I picked up a thing of salmon. So I'm walking out the thing and there's a lady in front of me, and I'm kind of walking kind of brisk because you know how I kind of be on the move. So the lady keeps looking back. She's looking back and she's like, "Are you gonna hit me with your cart?" and I'm sitting there, older lady, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "No, ma'am, I'm not gonna hit you with my cart." I said, "I understand that feeling. I have kids. I've been ran over, and it's not a good feeling. So I wouldn't dare do that." So we, chitty chatting as we walking and everything, and we kind of go our separate ways. I fill my car up, and I go back, and I said, "Hey, let me get your cart, by the way." She was like, "Oh, look at you trying to be kind." I said, no, this is me all the time. I said, I work for the community. I work right across the street right here. So I said, come over and visit me. Get to work today. Co-workers say, "Andre, I seen you last night." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "I was sitting in my car and I just heard your voice and I looked up and it was you talking to this lady." She was like, "I seen you go get the lady cart and everything." And I was like, that's just what I do. Like, it's not like, I don't want to say fake or anything, but that's just what it was. And I was like, bro, that's so crazy. And this, just to get to the story, you just never know who's watching. We always know who's watching, but you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
And just like when we was at Alicia's house and the co-worker was over there, she came down like puzzled. She really didn't think that I knew them people like that. So, but
I think that's a good example of, like, when you say you don't know who's watching, you really don't know who's watching. Know. And so it's about making sure that as we are on, our beautiful journey and loving and just living life, that we are being the best person,
best version of yourself,
the best version of ourselves as we can, because we never know when God needs to use us to be an example for somebody else. Because what happens if you curse that lady out? Or if you ran her over with the car? Then your coworker would have been like, you know what I mean? Like, all of the different things. So it's just a great example of showing love in action.
Yeah, because they see me like that at work. And then I'm like, y'all don't understand that me outside of work is the same person. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to laugh and joke and play. I said, I really think that she might have thought that I was going to hit her. Like, I didn't have no intentions of running this lady over at all. She was like, just get on the inside of me. If on the inside, I'm laughing so hard on the inside because 10 years ago, she might have caught it right in that street. She might have caught it. But it's like,
I love what Tiffany says right here. I don't mean to stop you.
No, you could, because I was kind of reading them as
because
they was going.
She said, I had to show love and kindness towards a coworker that I looked at with a side eye. I have to remember that I have to show the love of God, and I think that's an example too, Tiff.
Yes, it is.
Like, the true example is when we can show love and show kindness and patience and all of the things that this scripture is saying in that, to the person that ruffles our feathers
the most, right?
The most. Yeah. Because it's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and love you the way that God love you right now. Let me see you the way that God see you right now. And that's the hardest thing for us, because when you got that person that's like this, like, I'm not touching you. You know how that, like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching. But knowing, like, this irking your nerve, like, and that like, person,
just touch me. Please just touch me.
Right?
Please
like, I'm just waiting for you. And it's like, God is like, this is. It really helps you put things in perspective. And when you have that person that is ruffling your feathers, that person that's wronged you, of saying, I gotta show love the way that God does it.
And it's intentional, y'all.
It's definitely something you have to be intentional about,
And
because
then again, the person that's nagging you was intentional. And I say this because remember, God puts people in our lives for certain reasons. So that may not be for you. It may be for that person that keeps going, hey, hey, look at me, look at me. It could be for that person and not so much for you. Because again, he puts people in our lives for a reason. That lady was in, I didn't have to go to the grocery store. This is how I look at it. I didn't have to go to Shoppers. I could have went to Giant. I could have went to Weiss. I had 2 stores I could have stopped at. I just stopped it. It was the closest one. And I normally
it was
do
meant for
not
you to
shop
stop
at Shoppers.
it
I
was
don't,
meant for you to be there.
yeah. And because again, if it was just one of the things where I just had an encounter with that lady, it would have been one thing. But the fact that I went to work today and my coworker said, I saw you. I said, no, you gotta be kidding. That's too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And this was late. I left work late yesterday, and I normally don't leave that late. So I was like, God put that lady in my life, and she put her there.
It was a God
It's
moment.
100%.
It was a God
And
moment.
I've gone so far away from coincidences. Cause catch me a couple months, years ago. That was a coincidence. That's just But nah. Everything is intentional. Be intentional on everything. Be intentional. Even like when we do get those our feathers ruffled. And remember what I said, babe. I've changed my perspective of it. And you said it was the enemy. No, it's God. He put that person right there. Go ahead. I need to see what you really gonna do.
You're right, because
I need to see how you really gonna
the
act for
enemy
real.
can't touch us
Nah,
without
not at
God's
all.
permission.
Not
So
at
you're
all.
right. It is God is at it. God is at it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and so one other thing that you had said, I kind of wanted to touch bases on that kind of helped me get out of my snapping because I still got a little anger in me, but my snapping coming back was if I allow someone, and I said this before, if I allow someone to get me out my happy-go-lucky nature, they have more power over me than I have of myself. So at the end of the day, when she said that, it like my eyes lit up like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, did she just say that? But I came back, oh no, man. No, I'm not. I'm not about to hit you. I know how it feels. And it could have been zippery. So she finished. She said, so if I run into you again and I say ankles, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I said, you are absolutely right. I will. and so again, y'all, it's I always say this to my kids. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So those that when you see those angry faces, walk up to them and smile, and you never know. You never know what that may do for that person, or just ask them, "Hey, how you doing? Is everything okay?" Um, uh,
So as you saying it, it reminds me. So every morning, I always go. When we first get in, we have our morning meeting with the kids,
mm-hmm.
and one of the questions that I always ask is, "How are you feeling today?" Majority of the time, we'll get some. I'm happy. So if we do it. If you're happy and clap your hands, right?
Yeah, you better do it.
There's sometimes when a kid will say that they're frustrated, but they have a smile on their face. So I'm like,
How you frustrated with
how
a
you
smile?
frustrated with a smile?
That's a good question. That's a great question.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we start talking about it, right? And we like, oh, that was like so they frustrated because I had to get up for school early, right? And I realized now when a kid says that, the other kids start noticing their facial expressions too. Because I'm not the only one that just says, but you smiling.
Yeah, right,
like they'll
right,
say
right.
it back. So it's great to see
Let them speak their emotions.
let them speak their emotions, but not just that, but the kids are being able to recognize how somebody else is feeling.
Yeah, that's even
Like
deeper.
I had one
That's awesome.
today.
That's awesome.
He's the smallest in the classroom. When I say the smallest,
I call them those are pocket toys. So
he's
put them
my
in the
quiet
pocket.
storm. He's very quiet, but like he'll speak when. And
Okay.
I was just watching him one day, and I'm like, he's really talking today. So when I asked him, how was he feeling? He said, not feeling anything today. And I said, and that's a valid
Yeah, it
response.
is.
And
I don't know.
we were talking because I'm like, listen, sometimes you are going to have moments when you don't feel anything,
Hmm.
and that's okay.
You just like in the moment.
You just in the moment.
Yeah.
And I said, as long as you're like, you're okay, as everything physically is okay, it's okay
Hmm.
if you don't, you're not feeling anything. We're going to have those moments.
100%.
But just to hear him say that, and he's just like, I don't know. I don't have any. And he raised his shoulders, and I'm like, okay, it's okay. And we
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah. That's it's amazing, babe, that you get to touch these lives.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, because I did it for so long, and I'm still in it. But the school system is a lot different than recreation. Um, you can touch the kids in recreation, but it's just something about the kids, because I guess it's more so you see them every day. And I always would like said in my head, was like, dang, we may spend more time with these kids with the kids than they do with their own parents. And it kind of was mind boggling. So it was like I had to kind of, even outside of the schoolhouse, I got to make sure that I'm walking and living in what I'm speaking,
Yep.
because again, like I think I might have mentioned this the last time, we're in a society now where kids are no longer doing what you tell them to do.
They're looking at,
They're mimicking what they see.
yep.
Yeah, so we have a dog that wants to get out. Let me go open the door for. I'll be right back, y'all.
No, go ahead. No, so the next one is love is not jealous or boastful or proud. Hold on, y'all. His cushion fell.
I got it because it was falling.
I'm glad it didn't knock the screen down.
Oh, that
Um,
would have been something.
okay, so the next part is, if we still on verse 4, love is not jealous or boastful or proud. Or I'll just finish it off with the next part of 5, or rude. Like jealous, right? Let's talk about that one, because I think
Yeah.
sometimes, especially with social media, that it can cause us to compare
Relationships, financial
financial
situations,
situations, like
uh,
everything a person has. And I
materialistic
think
things.
we have to, um, I think we have to be careful with social media,
Very much so.
because if we are, one, people will only sometimes
The good.
put out the good, because that it's the facade that they want to carry, right? And
Hmm.
then you have some that may only show the negative, because that's, they're looking to incite anger, or keep things going. And so I think you have to be mindful, especially with social media, that you are coming and looking at things with an open perspective, because you don't want the comparison to come in, and all of a sudden now there's jealousy in terms of, well, I work harder than she do,
Yeah.
why is this not happening for me, or why are they cruising,
Hmm.
whatever it is. And you just have to be mindful of what you allow into your space,
Yep.
so that the jealousy doesn't come into place.
So would you say jealousy and envy? Because
Yeah,
it's
that's all the same.
pretty much
Yep.
in the same thing, right? Um, and we could go another route with it. You could even be comparing your spouse. You could be jealous of your spouse.
Yep.
That's real. That's real. Is because I would always mess with Trina, like when she would work out and try to change her figure, because I told her I love her from every inch of the hair up top to the bottom of those toes. And when she was like, get smaller and things, I mess with her like, dang, you about to get small and leave me. And then she started a business and I mess with her, but it was more in a joking manner, because I don't hope and pray she don't never leave me. uh, but so it was more so in a joking manner. I hope you ain't never take me serious when I would say that, but
Babe, I'm
um,
not.
all right, cool. So we good. That's good. Right. uh, but so just in saying that, like, people have really left their spouses because of jealousy and envy of them. of them trying to, as the youth will say, have their glow up. It's nothing wrong with growth. If maybe that person wasn't for you, if they don't like where you're going,
Mm-hmm.
if they're still trying to hold you to where you were when they first got together, maybe that's not for you if you want to move forward. You know what I mean? So it's not a bad thing when you start to grow and the person behind you doesn't want to, and trying to pull you back, but you trying to help them come forward. Like, look, I already got on the ship. Let me throw the anchor down to you, or let me throw the life vest down to you and help pull you up. And now, if that person is resisting and trying to pull you back down into the water, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if they helping you, you're helping me pull myself out the water, and I'm also helping myself pull myself out the water, then we have something going there. If everybody's with me.
How did we start talking about Uno? What we say that trigger Rick to talk about Uno?
I
I'm
think it's
sorry, I
because it
meant
with the
to.
kids. I think it's with the
It
kids.
must have been something. Oh, maybe it was the root. I don't know. But listen, if y'all
We need
ain't
to have y'all back on.
listen, Tiffany and Rick Childs, or Rick and Tiffany Childs, Team Childs, them and their Uno,
Don't get on. Don't sit
don't
down.
get started, because that's a whole. You see a different side of somebody coming out on that. Tiffany be like, pick up two. You ain't draw fast enough.
And just make sure you know the rules.
Yeah, know the rule.
Because if you don't, you gonna get about that table quick. You
Cause they ain't regular. They not regular Uno, y'all.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
All right. Okay, so we talked about jealous, boastful, or proud, or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wrong. There we go, talking about that, you know, demanding. It's not irritable. It's like walking in love no matter what it looks like, what it feels like. And it's not keeping a record of wrong. So it's not tit for tat.
Mm,
Like,
mm.
nah, you did me wrong. I'm gonna hold on to it, and then we into an argument.
Let's let them
Five,
grudges go.
right?
I mean,
Like, don't you remember when?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You
no,
can't
no,
do that.
no. We left that's in the
Yeah, and
past.
that's with your friendships as well.
That part of it.
You know what I mean? Because if you're truly a friend of this person, like I said, if it was your spouse trying to pull you down and it's your friend trying to pull you down, it's the same thing.
I think
As long as you're helping and they're helping themselves, then it's something that y'all can coexist together. Um, what was we on?
no. So I was gonna say, I think when it comes to that part in the scripture, not keeping a record of wrong, that's when I think about it, love and forgiveness go hand in hand.
Mhm.
Like I
Sorry,
cannot I cannot walk in love completely until I've been able to
been able
forgive.
to forgive.
Because if
Yeah.
I can't forgive, then those records of wrong are gonna come out. Well, I remember when you did. All
So
of that's gonna come out.
let's go a little further with that, right? You got to be able to forgive yourself.
It's
If
all it's
any,
any it's
yes,
always
right. And
because
so
I
go
think
ahead.
we have to start with us first. Like, I
You
can't.
have to start with
You
self
gotta
first.
forgive yourself first, because think about how many times you have held on to something and didn't realize it.
Yeah,
Right? You were
oh, you
holding
did.
on, or you were holding on to something, looking for the I'm sorry.
Hmm.
But the person, one, may not have understood at the time that they hurt you,
Right.
right? There wasn't the self-realization that they've done something wrong. Or two, maybe they're no longer around to be
And you
able to
can't get
offer
that
the forgiveness.
right.
And so you have to learn, am I going to forgive now, knowing that this person will never be able to say I'm sorry? Because forgiveness isn't for us. I mean,
Mm-mm.
isn't for the person that hurt us. It's for us.
Hmm.
It's for us to be able to release it and to let it go.
Yep.
Like, how long have we held on to something looking for the forgiveness? And we've finally may have received the forgiveness, but it never hits the same. Like, oh, I waited all this time for that.
Right.
Like, I
And
done moved on. Right.
right, right. So you end up getting it. It's like what?
Yeah.
And I could have been did this. I could have been released this myself.
And that's the key, is like, in order to be able to walk in love and be able to just share love and receive love and understand that you are deserving of love, you've got to let the grudges
Gotta
go.
go.
You've got to let the forgiveness go. Like you've got to let the person off the hook. You've got to let the act off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I think we hold on to the act of what happened, and that's the piece that always sticks with
Yep.
you.
Yep. You can't. It's like hard to let it go for whatever reason. It has a vice grip.
It is, and it keeps you. The it becomes a trigger
Yep. Yeah. To the any next
to any next
any next
situation.
situation. It
Because
don't even have to be a relationship.
how
Because
many times, like, you might have gone off on somebody and you'll pull up something, be like, "Ooh, where did that come from?
yeah.
Like, I wasn't expecting all that. I just asked you how you was doing."
Yeah. 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 It happens. It happens all the time, and a lot of people don't realize. Um, I always kind of say this, that after COVID, it seemed like the world became impatient with everything. If y'all just that's out there driving, I feel like the driving has gone like absolutely insane.
I think it
Nobody's.
was.
I
I
mean, it might have always been there.
That's what I think it is. I think when COVID hit, it made us start realizing all of that dysfunction that we were
Yeah,
accepting as
that's
our truth.
normal. As
Yeah.
our normal.
So like now that we
Wow.
were forced to have to slow down, you start looking at, well, why is they rushing? Now
Yeah.
you start realizing it more. So I think that's what COVID taught us, was like, no, the things that we were accepting as normal really weren't
It wasn't really
normal.
normal in the first place.
And so now
We
let's
just was
switch it
going on
up
the go to go. Everybody
on the
was
go to
on,
go.
I'm glad you said that, because before COVID, and I mean, we kind of now it's kind of back to everybody on the go 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 again, but it really taught us we have to slow down and be more intentional about a life, about
Being
our
in the
relationships,
moment.
being in our
Be in the moment.
moments,
Yep.
because it's is I mean, yeah. And me and Trina was sitting down. What was that, the other day? It's like, man, it's March will be 5 years out of it, and it just doesn't seem like that. So my point of making that is time waits for no one. I don't know if anybody else has talked about it, but when me and Trina brought this up, I said, Nick's 5, he'll be 11 this year. This was 5 years ago. I was like, wow, where did time go? So if you look at it like this, right? We only have, I think, 2 more weeks in February. So time is not waiting. And I feel like I say this all the time. I feel like time has sped up since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And you like tomorrow will be Wednesday. And you're like, dang, we almost at the end of the week. And then when you get to the end of the week, you're like, where did the week go? What did I do?
Yep.
So we you have to be mindful of that as well. But yeah, next one. Let's try to
Okay.
get to all of
So
them.
verse 6 says, "It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out."
Ooh, that's celebrating yourself, right?
It can be, but I think it's more about when somebody has a downfall, you're rejoicing and celebrating their loss
Oh, okay. Like
versus being
okay.
able to rejoice whenever truth speaks out. So like if somebody is using their voice, saying and rejoicing in that
Hmm.
versus rejoicing in when somebody has a shortfall.
I got you. Got you. So I mean, let me see. Where was that at, man?
Verse 6. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out.
I mean, shoot, that's living it too. That's
Yep.
living it, not just praising it when somebody does, when somebody truth wins. Um, that's literally walking in your faith. Because you have a lot of people that try to talk it but may not walk it.
For me, when I think about that, I think about a lot of times we'll hear people say that's karma,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That, well, why you want to boast in something bad
Bad.
happening to somebody? When, like, if they have a downfall or if they have a shortcoming, pray for that
Uh-huh.
person,
Uh-huh.
because you don't know what they're experiencing. You
at
don't
all.
know what's coming. And so for you to say, well, what goes around comes around, right? Because we'll say that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, okay, God gonna get it. We talk about what God gonna bless, bless me, will destroy my enemies, like all of those things. But understanding that at the end of the day, it's about truth winning out and just resting in the fact of, yes, the person may have had something negative happen to them. You are not rejoicing in that. You are rejoicing in the fact of, okay, like a defamation suit. Like when I think about it,
Hmm.
like, don't think that you've won, the case and it's on and then I beat them out. Just be like, God has made you whole.
Yeah.
God has renewed you. God has redeemed you.
Hmm.
And so there's no harm to you versus, oh, we won, we whooped
Yeah.
their tail, da da da
Hmm.
da. So that's how you got to look at it, at least how I see it.
No, I'm with you.
Okay. So verse 7, this is the last one. Love never gives up, never loses faith, and is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. So that's a lot in that one.
Yeah.
So
Let's just start with the first one.
the
Love never
first
gives
part,
up.
love never gives up. Like if you're walking in love, you understand, okay, I'm in it till the end.
Yeah. No matter who it is,
No
who I'm
matter
giving
who it
my love to.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like it's being able to walk in unconditional love. And I know it's not easy
It's
to
not.
unconditionally love
But is it
somebody
supposed to be?
else
You know what I mean?
because you look at, well, they did me wrong, da 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 da. But if you can shift from the perspective of, well, how does God love them?
Hmm.
Right? If God can love me unconditionally,
Why can I love
why
everybody
can't
else?
I love somebody else that same
Yeah.
way?
Why not?
And I know it's not easy to do that because when you're hurt, you like, nah, God, that's that. Just because you love them unconditionally doesn't mean I have to right now. And you got to understand that you might not have to do it right now, but at some point, God is going to require you
Hmm.
because He's going to ask you, you need to forgive.
Yep.
You need to let this go.
Yep.
Well, how do
Cause
I
he gonna give
let
you your
that go?
time.
He
Yeah.
gonna give you a time.
He
He
gonna give you
like,
your time.
you remember when you told me you wanted this?
Hmm.
Well, I can't give you this until you forgive XYZ.
Yep.
So
Yep. And it might not sound exactly like that. It may come at you different ways because again, it's supposed to come at everyone differently. But you're making a strong point on that because again, if you sitting there with this hatred for this person, but you over here trying to mold your clay how you want to, but you using saying how you molding anything? Saying ain't supposed to like you're not supposed to. You know if my analogies, you know how where I go with my
yeah, but you
analogies.
can't mold saying you need a little water to
No,
do
no,
it.
no, but that's adding another element to it, right? I'm just talking. We just grabbing
You
saying,
right, you right, you right.
because saying what do you do with regular saying? It just fall through your hands, everything. But if you just add a little touch of water to it, you can start to get it to mold. Um, so what we again with that? Love is
That was
never
love
gives
and
up.
never
Yeah,
gives up.
never gives up. Because does God give up? No,
No.
no.
Bible gives us plenty of examples where he doesn't. So if he doesn't give up, why would we give up?
Why should we? Because that's all He asks for us is just to just give God His love and give people the love,
Yeah.
and give God the people's love. And it works out.
So that go then I love how he puts with never gives up, it never loses faith.
Never lose faith.
Because it's our faith that causes us to never give up.
Mm-hmm.
If we trust and know that God has it no matter what, right? We won't give up. We won't start having the self doubts. We won't start questioning, well, God, did you really call me to this? Right? Like I'm saying, okay, we got a conference coming up this way, right?
Yep.
This way. We got a conference coming up, and I'm like, oh, should we do? It's kind of tight out here. The government is changing, and he like, trust me. So that's love
And
never
that's that
that
faith.
never loses
Yep.
faith. So like I have to have the faith. We have to have the faith that at the end of the day, when
It's gonna
June
work it out.
13th and June 14th hit, that people will be there because I understand that even with times being uncertain because of what's taking place with the government and what's happening, we still need beautiful. We still need to be
We
able to
need it
share
even
love.
more.
We need it even
Even
more. And
more.
so that was his That was his word to me when I was like, nah, maybe I'm gonna push this thing back. He was like, no, do what I told you to do. So there's
Staying in that
provision in
assignment.
that. Yep, staying in
Staying
assignment.
in your assignment.
Love is always hopeful. So same thing, going back to never giving up and losing faith. I love how he ends with endures through every circumstance, because a lot of times when we are in the thick of things, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when we're in the midst of the storm,
Mm-hmm.
we are may tend to say, God, why are you taking me through this?
Yeah. And now let's ask that. Can I ask you this? Is that when you say, God, are you taking me through this? Are you losing faith and questioning in him?
I think you do. I
Uh
think you do have moments of, well, God, if you really love me, why am I going through
true,
this?
true,
Right? Or
true.
we'll question, well, God, I really don't see how this is possible.
Yeah.
And so we start doubting and we start questioning. And we have to understand, like what God gave me to stand on, what, a year or 2 years ago, like even in this, they're still beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And that no matter what we go through, no matter what circumstance that is filling us, like when we're in the thick of things, like in the eye of the storm,
Man, what?
not just on the outskirts of it.
Category 5 eye
Yeah,
storm.
I'm in the eye storm,
Yeah.
right? And I have to understand, like, regardless of what it feels like, what's going on around me, what's going on within me, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we in the storm,
The
it's
storm
something
is
internal.
inside. Yeah, yeah.
We got to understand that no matter what, going back to never giving up and never losing faith, that God is with us in the midst of the storm. He like, listen, I got the armor right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding your hand. I'm keeping you still in this thing, because we could be in a point where we get in the eye of the storm. You ever seen, like, I think about the Wizard of Oz,
Mm-hmm.
where the Wicked Witch gets picked up and you
Yep.
see the foot just going. Like,
Yeah.
I think about the eye of the storm of being able to say, okay, God is giving me some weights.
And he's holding me down.
He's holding me down. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to be swept
Mm-hmm.
away by the turmoil, by the chaos that's going on around me. And like, it's just a continual circle. And like, yeah,
Because
I may
yeah,
raise up a little bit, but that weight kick in and he pulling me back down
like a balloon weight.
like a balloon weight.
Like a balloon weight. Because a balloon weight, as long as the balloon weight don't ever
Sorry, y'all.
detach, it's gonna keep you grounded.
And it's like, okay, God is like, you gonna trust me?
Yeah,
You
you
gonna
might get picked
believe
up a
in
little
me?
bit.
And like, you start, when that the lack of faith comes in,
That's when
you
that thing
start
start to
drifting up.
untie.
And
That's
he
when that
like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
uh-huh. And
You better
God is
bring that
like,
faith
nope, you're
back.
gonna trust me. You're
Yeah,
gonna
bring that
trust
faith
me. And
back.
he gonna start bringing us back down. And then before you know it, the storm has calmed down.
Mm-hmm.
And we realized that, yes, we rose up. Yes, we thought we were getting ready to be taken out, but he still kept us, right? We
I
were
was still grounded.
tethered
Yeah.
to him. And so, yeah, it might have got a little rocky, but I didn't drift away.
Mm-mm.
And that's the reminder that love endures
Through
through every
every
circumstance.
circumstance.
Every circumstance. It
Mm-hmm.
may not look like it sometimes when we going through things, but there is a reason for everything that we go through.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be evident to us, right? It could be the situation, like for your coworkers, right? And
Yeah.
being able to see different examples. Like, what you go through is never for you, it's always for somebody else. It's always for somebody else that's watching to see, oh, she says she loved God. Well,
Yeah.
she lose, like Job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about the story of Job and how all of the different things that he went through. And he had those three friends that are coming to him, like they supposed to be your road dogs.
Yep. Yep.
And they coming in and they come, well, where's your God now? And you done lost this, you done lost that. Where's your God now? Da-da-da-da. You done, your health is failing. Well,
All of us
where's your
had
God
that
now?
person.
We all had that
We had
person.
that
And
person
sometimes
before.
that
Maybe
person is
three,
us.
four. Yeah, it could be yourself. And it's been ourselves sometimes.
So it's understanding, like, okay, to be able to walk in love, be able to walk in the faith and the hope that we need to have, and understanding, like, love endures
Everything.
everything.
Yep.
Like, love yourself as your name. Like we can even get into that, that scripture, because it's like if I can't allow God to define what love is for me and like his example of viewpoint of love, then I can't love you.
No.
But I got to love myself first. But I
That's
got to
tough.
do that because he's teaching me what love looks like for me. Like he has to be able to give us examples of what love looks like for us, so that as we're going through it, he be like, no, I need you to show a little bit more love right here.
Yeah.
Like,
oh,
you thought you was good. Let me show you this. And you start seeing it, and it's like, okay, if I can love somebody the way that God loves them, he like, oh, remember that time when Shawty came across your path and you wanted to yoke her up a little bit, but you show kindness and you show faith to her and you spoke words to her, and now she's got an example of what it looks like to forgive.
Because I don't, because at the end of the day, you don't know what the person went through for that whole entire day.
Yep.
So I always say this because like, man, there is still good humans out here. There's still good faith in humanity, because we see and hear so many negative things. And just like the little bit of arguments that we would hear with our neighbors, man, like I always felt like you needed your neighbor. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I can say this. I've grown a lot because I didn't always feel like that, because I remember we had the other day. I was like,
yeah. I mean, your neighbors will test your button. Tiffany said something about her neighbor on here.
Yeah.
Neighbors will test your button, and God is like, I got this. Let this be. You let me handle this. And so I think that's the thing we have to understand is like, when we're in those circumstances, in those situations, it's like God is like, you gonna trust me in this?
Yeah.
Like, even in this, you gonna trust me? Like, you can't say on one hand, you love me.
Right.
I trust you, God.
Yeah.
But then when I'm in a storm, when things are happening around me, that like, no, that's quite. Now, listen, I'm keeping it real because I definitely know there have been times when I'm like, God, what is happening? Like, you sure about this? Like, why do I gotta go? And I'm like, God, just ease up just a little bit.
And it's so funny that you say that, babe. Because I had someone say that to me. I don't remember if it was Friday or if it was Monday or Thursday or Monday, but just having a conversation, and it was like, man, why God choose me? He, asked me this question. It's somebody
that's a good question
that we talk to all the time. He was like, bro, I ain't asked for this, and so I didn't. It was one of the things I'm like, dang, I'm at loss for words, kind of, sort of. But then I was able to come back like a little time later, and I was like, I guess, I mean, why? Because I asked him, I said, why? I said, why do you think he chose you? And he said, and that's how we was able, and I feel like it helped him out a little bit, because then you ask that question, so why do you think he even chose you?
So I that's a great topic, I think, and that's probably something we need to explore, because how many times have we questioned or said to God, why me?
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember teaching a webinar, teaching something, and the question that came up as I was preparing was, why not you?
Why not? That's the better question.
That's the better question. And I think until we can ask God, why me, then we really don't know what we're made up of. Like, we're not, if you didn't go through the different trials, when the big one comes, like what's the from Fred Sanford, and he'd be like, oh, I'm coming, I'm coming. And it's like, oh, that's why I had to go through what I went through.
Yep.
Because I needed to build my faith muscle. I needed to build the endurance. I needed to build my resilience and understand. And I had this conversation with Kayla, and I was telling her, I was, explaining, like, I'm sorry going through the things that you're going through. I said, but I've also known based on your journey that because of what you've overcome in the past,
You ready
that
for
what's
anything?
sitting that's right here at our feet right now is something that can be,
You're gonna get through it.
can get through it, because we thought, it's 5 years ago or
Yeah,
whatever we're going through, had gone through, that was going to take us out,
yeah.
but we
And they
got
say you got
through
through
it.
that. And that was a lot of category fives.
A lot of categories, and I think we just have to understand, and that's where I think gratitude comes in, because if you can be like, God, you know what, you brought me through the thing that I thought was the worst
What that
thing I
was
would
gonna take
ever
me
go
out.
through.
Yeah. I thought this was gonna take me out.
Right. So what I'm facing right now,
Little little little
it's
side look.
it's rocky. It hurts,
Yeah.
but I know if I can get through what I got through back then,
Yeah, I'll get through
that I
this.
can get through this. And I think that's
We
how
made
we
of
have
it.
to look at our lives and just saying, okay,
Yeah.
listen,
Go back and look through the stuff that you already been through.
that part.
And then say, what?
Like
If I got through that, why can't I get through this?
look at God's track record.
There you go. There you go. And
Like
I should say
when's the
that. Go
last
back and look at
time
God's track record on you
on you?
to
Look at when is
see.
the last time you really sat down and gone back over your life and looked at how many times God has brought you through something.
And so I know for some people, some of their things may be very traumatic, but just remember you got through it. And you didn't get through it alone.
Yeah.
God helped you get through that. God gave you the pathway. Um, so it's just like the Wizard of Oz, right? They were all on this journey for something different. But when they got to the Oz, they already had it in them the
It was
whole
already
time.
within them.
The whole time, y'all. So remember, when we out here searching, it's right in you. It's in you already. God's in you. What you don't think you have because God's in you. You have it. All right. I, I just put that together because we were talking about a journey. And yeah, it was a yellow brick road, but every last one of them went through something as they were going down their journey. But when they got there, each and every one of them was on a different journey for something. But when they got there, the Oz told them, y'all already had this the whole time. So we ain't looking for Oz, we looking for God. And God letting us know, you got it. You got this. Because I already showed you. And remember, I said this a long time ago. Not a long time ago. In one of our last ones, it was you already won the big race. So now that you are in the physical form, you prepare for anything that's going to be put in front of you
Mm-hmm.
because you already won the big race.
Yep.
You
Everything
already
you
won it.
need.
As soon as you take your first breath, you won the big race. Now you just starting all over from finish line and you're doing another. Now you're on a journey. You had it. It was the big race. Was inside the body. You won that race. Now it's time for you to take your journey.
When you say that, I'm reminded of, it's like God allows the different situations that we go through to elevate us for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at every situation that you've gone through, if you go back and say, okay, what was the lesson
Yep.
that I learned in that, right? Maybe it was learning how to forgive. Maybe it was learning to trust yourself. Maybe it was learning to release and surrender. Like whatever it is, what was the lesson in each and every hardship that you went through? And you're like, you know what? If God hadn't taken me this, I would have never did whatever,
Yeah.
right? And so if we can reframe our perspective and saying, okay, everything that I need is already within me,
Mm-hmm.
and the situation that I'm facing is necessary for the next
Yep.
level that God is getting ready to take me
Yep.
to, then we look at our circumstance and be like, okay, you know what? Bring it on. Now I'm putting my armor on.
So I'm gonna go back to what you just said because you know how I like doing my analogy things, right? Let's go back to Mario Brothers. Okay, real quick, just real quick. Sometimes you had to go and you had to find something in one level that could even take you to the next level. So you get to the next level, right? And it's like, oh, go back to level 4 and get X, Y, and Z. So that way you can get to this. It's the same thing in God. He has to, at level 4, he has to put you through these so you can even conquer to make that next leap to get to 5, 6, because everything goes in order. So again, when we said this before in doing directions, that we don't look at the directions, we don't follow God's plan, and then we got to take 10 steps back to
To
go
go get the lesson
to
he
go
needed
get the
us to
lesson
get.
that we really
Yep.
needed when we should have got it the first time. But as long as you get the lesson, as long as you get the lesson.
Yep. That was
Yeah.
good.
Sorry. Yeah, I know I
That
be
was
trying to
good.
throw references in there, and sometimes my references go everywhere, baby. I
Oh,
be
this we
everywhere.
know, but that's
They
the
be
unscripted part of it.
everywhere.
That's the
But
unscripted part.
it always makes sense some type of way. Some type of way. And that's how I know that it ain't me speaking, y'all. He's using me. And I love it. I love it, y'all. Oh man, I feel better. I feel better. So
Anything else?
we done
That
on
was it. That was
that
all the
was it.
scriptures.
So again, we appreciate y'all stepping in with us.
Thank you for joining us on an unscripted beautiful life. Remember, love is patient, love is kind, love has hope, endures all. Y'all go back to First Corinthians, what, 3:14?
3, 4, yes, 13:4. Or
No,
was it 3:4?
13:4. My
Yeah,
bad. 13:4. Read that scripture, sit with it, ask God to show you what does all of that mean for you,
yeah.
and allow him to give you the understanding and the clarity to know that at the end of the day, that last part of the scripture on verse 7, love endures through every circumstance. So what you go through, what you experience, there's intention behind it. It's just a matter of us asking God to show us what that intention is. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you. Until next week for another edition of An Unscripted Beautiful Life. Have a
Unscripted.
great evening.
Thank you.